Hello and welcome. I'm going to show you how to make a few low poly basic cones. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the base. Center it. And then I've Google searched traffic cones. And the most common small one I found was 0.4 by 0.4. And I'm just guesstimating on the 0.05. Alright. What you will notice, most cones have either a round edge or a kind of a cut-off edge, so I'm just going to go with the cut-off. So let's chamfer it and do 0.05. So now let's do the top. Same thing. We'll use a cylinder, I'll center it. Now I couldn't find exactly how wide the base was, so we're just going to guesstimate. Good enough. We're going to do about a 0.45 tall. Just right click editable poly. We know that was 0.05 tall. We already have a texture made. It's in maps slot 1. So I'm going to poly select 1 and drop it on. So I'm going to poly select, as you can see. That's how it normally is, but I like to be able to see the poly sometimes, so I will hit F2. I will unwrap it, poly select it, or face select it, and then unfold. You can see we still have the top and the bottom of the cylinder. Bottom. We'll delete after this. It's not needed. So let's detach them or break them. Put them off to the side for now. Alright, let's shrink it down. Let's peek at this. I think that's good enough. Alright, let's work the poly to collapse it. You can either select the verts or select the poly, either one will work. And then we can just scale the top bit down. And ta-da, you have a cone. Now, why I don't like necessarily doing it this way is you can see how the texture distorts a little along the edges is because of we're condensing it down, and Max doesn't like it. Now in game this will look fine. Not great, but it'll look fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it one different way. Requires a few extra steps, but in the end I feel it's worth it. So we already mapped the top, so we don't really need it. So I'm just going to select the middle bit, unwrap, face select this now, and then I'm going to unfold it. And that didn't work as planned. There we go. Welcome to Max. So I like to line this up top to where it's level. Just a preference thing for me. And then go here. Now, doing this, you will see if you want the angled cone look, where the white stripes are at a slight angle, this will be perfect. As you can see, But right off the bat, you'll notice that, let's see, we'll zoom right here. See how that it's a little fuzzy right there? Well, this is nice and crisp. But we want straight lines. So what I'll do is collapse it. We'll look over here from the side. We'll just do one line for this example. Slice and slice. Alright, since the top's already mapped, we're not going to select that. I will select the sides and unwrap again. As you can see, there's our slice marks. Now you could just break those off and stick them on the white section, which would work just fine. But I'm going to remove these lines in the end so we could save some polys. Some tracks you could have dozens and dozens of cones, and those 12 polys will add up. So for poly's sake, I'm going to bring this down here. Tools. I'm going to render it out. Now the texture I'm using is 1024 by 1024. So render that out. We'll get this. I will copy it. I will paste this. I'll get rid of it. Now, so I have my layer here. I'm going to add a new layer in. I could just freehand color this area in, or I could simply use I could use fill, but the edges won't be right, and it will bleed off into this other area. So what I'll do is the pen tool. Alright, let's select that. I guess pretty good. Alright, let's right click on it and we'll fill it. Select the color. Close enough. There we go. Let's hide that. I'm going to delete the path. Delete. I'm going to save. I'm going to come back to max. Let's close this out. We'll update it, and you can see now it fills in the line. So let's close here. All we need to do is then refresh the texture, and voila. So let's render it out, and you will see the difference of, you can see how there are edges that are a little fuzzy, and that might show up in game from a distance. But over here, while this isn't the greatest of lines, since I did it in a hurry, but you get the idea. A little bit of patience, and you can make this nice and smooth. But personally, this looks a lot better. Okay, so now what you'll need to do is just a little bit of tweaking to make sure it lines up on the edge. You can see I'm just off just a tick there. That's just a little bit of Photoshop work. But now, let's get rid of these polys. So you can see it was already selected. But if it's not, you can grab them to loop. Now you will hold Control and hit remove, because holding Control gets rid of the vertices. As you can see now, I have my line, and it's all one solid object. So now what we'll do is get rid of that. I'll map this for you. One. And I'll just put this on the solid black bit. flatten it. Grab the texture. Just rotate and make it a little bit easier. Since we're not having to line this up, it really can just wing it at this point. Let's do this. Click that. Whoop, that's 0.5. So let's render it out just so you can see what they look like. Now this will be a nice low poly cone. If they're off the track a little bit, if you're not necessarily going to drive right up to them, this is a nice simple, I mean you could even go 8 sides. I wouldn't go any lower. But it's a nice simple, it'll do its job cone. And as you can see how this has got a nice smooth edge, and over here there's a little bit of distortion. While this is not a big deal, as I said before, but that should appear that way in game as well. So we can attach it. 24 polys. Now, if you want, you could bevel that edge a little. Let's see, we'll do minus 0.05, apply, go in 0.05, oh, nope. You know what, I'll just hit OK. I'll manual do it. And then we'll need to grow. We need to remap this area. You can see how it's all out of whack. We flatten it, that's perfect. Alright, we have one more thing to do. First things first, we make sure that poly's gone or not. Let's do wireframe. Usually I just click in there. Alright, that we remove that poly. If it was still there, it would need to be gone. Now, say for example rFactor 1 and some of the older sims, the way the game engine works, it automatically tries to smooth over these edges if these verts are welded together. So we would just need to detach these faces, attach the element, and then continue and make sure all of it's detached. With rFactor 2, you can actually use smoothing groups. So for example, let's select these two, and I would go all the way around. See, it doesn't. It's smoothing group 10. All right, smoothing group 3, 7. See, they're all different. Let's check the cone. It's got 2 of them, so let's get rid of 1 of them. And then all you do is render it out and check it. And now you're done. We got 2 cones here, pretty much the same. Very little difference between the two. One just has the rounded top, one doesn't. They're mapped just a little bit different, but pretty much the same outcome. I would lean towards the left a little bit more. One other thing I would do is add some grime to the texture in the end, but I wanted to make sure the texture was nice and clear for this example. If you appreciate the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or comments, put them down below. And as always, thanks for watching.